All right, I think we have a good sense of these questions here. Thank you to all who have participated. And welcome to today's informational session on the College of Engineering at Northeastern University's two online MS in Information Systems and MS in Data Analytics Engineering programs. Lauren and I will be your hosts for the majority of the call today. My name is Tyler Sonnenberg. I am the Director of Learner Acquisition here. And Lauren Redmond is joining us, and she's the program manager for both of these programs. And we'll be able to answer basically any of your questions that you have. Feel free to use the questions feature in Zoom here. We can answer them privately. We can also answer them publicly during the call. We'll hope to answer most of your questions throughout our presentation today. But we're going to kick off today's call with our two special guests. And for that, I'm going to pass this over to Rob Towner.
Thanks, Tyler. Thanks, everyone, for joining today. I'm really excited to be part of the conversation today. My name's Rob Towner. I'm an Assistant Vice President with EDGE, and I have the pleasure today to introduce to you Dr. Marilyn MSIS, who is currently a professor and chair for the Department of Mechanical and Industrial Engineering at Northeastern University. She joined NU in spring of 2010. She is also director of the MSIS lab, which is awesome. I did not know that until I was getting her bio ready today. She's collected upwards of $10 million of funding for that lab to date. She has her BS and PhD from Georgia Tech. Most of her research is addressing sustainability issues in the goal of producing high-performance, energy-efficient, lightweight materials. I can also say that Marilyn has been one of the most awesome people to interact with here at the university since I got to meet her about 6 months ago. We started working on this collaboration. She's very innovative, very forward-thinking when it comes to what the university can be doing. So first, I'd like to go ahead and introduce Marilyn to the group, and then would love to hear your thoughts, Marilyn, about the College of Engineering and give us a little bit of your own background, not just out of my mouth.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much, Rob. That's very nice of you, very kind of you, and glad to be able to talk to all of you on the call today. So my background is very different from the programs that we're talking about today, but as the chair of Mechanical and Industrial Engineering Department, I get an opportunity to talk specifically about one of our programs, Data Analytics Engineering. My background itself is in polymer engineering, which is a materials science background, and it's working with composite materials for lightweighting and sustainability. So it's very different disciplinary-wise, but it'll give you some perspective on how broad the department is. We have a lot of faculty across multiple disciplines, and that has really allowed us to bring together those disciplines to build very strong programs. We are one department within the College of Engineering, and we have 5 different units in the College of Engineering. And so the different specialties allow us to really house faculty and their work and their specialties, but develop really strong programs that are specific to those various disciplines. And it's really a pleasure to be a part of the group.
Thanks, Marilyn. Can you start out by telling us, some exciting things COE is doing, particularly from a curriculum standpoint? I know most of the people in here are working professionals looking at doing some engineering upskilling to kind of further their career. You talk a little bit about where COE stands when it comes to, industry-aligned curriculum and things along those lines.
Yeah, I can talk a little bit about that. So as some of you might know, Northeastern is a highly co-op school, meaning that many of our students go on co-op. So they work for industry for about 6 months out of the year. And they've done that from the undergrad programs all the way up to the graduate program. So as we have been developing our programs, we have some perspective of the industry, and we know that our students need to be prepared, not only at the end of their degree, but along the way. And I think that has taught us that as we develop our graduate curriculum, a lot of industry professionals are very interested in these areas. And especially for an area like data analytics engineering, which is constantly evolving, you need the constant curriculum development to make sure we're staying up to date and we're not only teaching the foundational needs, but also staying up to date. So having that perspective from co-op has really kind of taught us that, but it's also allowed us to now think about making the curriculum more accessible to industry professionals. Hence, we're doing this webinar today and developing this new program. And as we're doing it, we're also learning from the industry and what the needs are and exactly how to pace the learning, how to pace courses to make sure it matches the needs of those who are very interested from that particular sector.
That's fantastic. Fantastic. So I know within your department, at least, can you give us some faculty highlights about what kind of experts are we bringing into these programs and why people should feel confident they're getting the best in class faculty?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I can talk specifically about mechanical industrial, and these are the two broadest of the engineering disciplines, if you didn't know that. And so it allows us really to attract faculty from a lot of different backgrounds. And so again, I'm a polymer engineer. I'm leading a mechanical industrial engineering department. So it gives you that perspective. Data analytics engineering sits more on the industrial engineering side of things. So we have quite a bit of faculty with specialty there. But within that discipline itself, you have folks that are very specifically focused on optimization or programming or have very strong foundational math backgrounds. But it also allows us to attract faculty that have mathematics backgrounds or computational backgrounds, statistics backgrounds. All of those things are needed in order to really bring together the various disciplines you need and foundational courses you need to build a program like data analytics engineering. And then we have faculty that are doing research. We recently were Northeastern was one of the universities to win this National Science Foundation NRT grant, which is a traineeship grant. And that was won by one of our industrial engineering faculty who works on optimization and supply chain resilience. And so it just brings, again, the faculty expertise brings along an opportunity for students not only to have courses, but to experience research and cutting edge, state-of-the-art, sort of next generation type things that we also want people to be exposed to that the industry may not even know about. And so all of these things coming together, I think really gives students an opportunity to have a full experience in these programs.
Perfect. I know when we first had started discussing these programs, something that was important to the College of Engineering and the university of a whole was expanding the reach and access that these online programs bring. I mean, as we saw from the chat, looks like tons of people from California, North Carolina, Canada, all over the place are interested in this program. Can you talk a little bit about what your goals as, chair or as a member of the engineering college would love to see in terms of expanding access, and, what are the areas where you would love to see more growth within the engineering space?
Yeah, that's a great question. So within this program, it's very exciting to see people from so many different regions interested. The thing about data analytics engineering, it's the foundation, it's the tools, the people that build the tools that allow us to do all the analytics and the science and with all the big data. And we know it's in every single sector. Wherever there's data, there's an opportunity. And these jobs and these opportunities are all over the country. And so it's nice to be able to develop a program that can be offered in a way that exposes more and more people to the discipline and gives them an opportunity to further their education. So that's one of the things we're really interested in doing. And we wanted to make sure that we thought about this, but I think our thought process comes more from the fact that we know there are opportunities for this all over. And so we need to make a program that's available to people all over. And that's really motivating us. And we're keeping our eye on other opportunities like this to develop programs. But again, industry is driving in it. The demand for it is driving in it. The fact that we live in a society that requires us to understand data is driving, for example, this program.
Awesome. And then the last kind of scripted question, then we'll see if the audience has any for you, is obviously, these two programs are launching with performance-based admissions track, which is first of its kind at COE. How do you, as a faculty member, want to say that this is creating a new pathway, or talk about the opportunities and what really went into creating a performance-based admissions pathway?
Yeah, so I'll talk first of all about why we wanted to create it. We know that people are coming from many different backgrounds. As you're going through your career and taking various jobs and even developing interests, it's going to change, it's going to evolve. And so you might have come out of school with a particular background or degree that's not specific to this particular area. It may not be math, it may not be industrial engineering, but that doesn't mean you don't have the skill set or you don't have the interest in order to do a graduate degree like this. So the performance-based approach, one, it provides students a short way to expose themselves to some of the foundational aspects of data analytics engineering. You're taking 2 courses that are really teaching you the coding, teaching you the basic building blocks or foundational tools that you'll need throughout all your courses. So it's a quick exposure to say, you know what, I really love this, I want to keep going, or I really don't like this and this isn't for me. So that's one of the good things about it. It then takes away the barrier of, do I have the right undergrad degree? Because you don't have to have necessarily the specific undergrad degree in order to be good at data analytics engineering. I can appreciate that, again, coming from a different discipline, leading to other disciplines. So we wanted to open it up. We recognize the diversity of people working in the area. We also recognize the diversity of sectors in this area, which again, people coming from a sports sector might have a very different background than somebody at an Amazon. And so basically this levels the playing field. It allows everyone the opportunity. And the performance aspect is we do want you to do well in the courses. They're foundational courses. So if you're not able to really do well in those courses, it does show maybe this isn't the right discipline. And that's okay, because it is a pretty serious discipline, and dealing with data and building tools for us to use data and analyze data is incredibly important. So we want to make sure you're exposed to the coding, to the warehousing, to those types of optimization and mathematic problems early on. So you can decide for yourself, and we can evaluate whether you're able to handle the curriculum.
Perfect. That's a great answer. Thank you, Marilyn. We had one great question come in that I'd love to have you answer, and then we'll definitely give you some time back and let Tyler and Lauren get back to the webinar. But in terms of, obviously, this is just launching for the first time online, but there's been students in the residential program for DAE and other areas before. Can you tell us a little bit about what those career outcomes have looked like? Somebody who does a DAE degree, where do they typically look for job outcomes and placement? What types of roles do they typically fall into?
Yeah, so it's quite varying. We have a lot of students that end up at, your Amazons, your big giant houses of where there's a lot of data in healthcare, for example. This is a huge area where there's quite a bit of data that needs to be processing. So the pharmaceutical industry, where they have already a lot of data scientists and data analytics folks, but they need people who are engineers to build the infrastructure needed to do that data analysis. We have folks in the manufacturing sector. As many of you know, this has had a resurgence. So quite a bit of people are going into that area. It's losing its sort of ancient glow and getting more sexy. And so more people are into it. Sporting is another big area. Sports betting, sports, everything. This is an emerging area. And you also have emerging areas of research, people who are doing a lot of R&D. They have a lot of data and they don't know what to do with it. And so there's an emerging field of folks who have R&D sectors that really want to help understand that data. So we have quite a bit of variation. The companies vary quite a bit. We work with hundreds of partners at Northeastern in terms of co-op, but we're seeing more and more students end up in quite a bit of diverse areas. It really is where they want to go and what they want to do, but that's just to give you a general overview.
Perfect. Thank you so much. It's been great to have your time, Marilyn. We appreciate you showing up to answer questions. I want to make sure that we get back to Tyler and Lauren so they can get through their slides and have their presentation. But this has been great. I've enjoyed getting to see you all. Hopefully you all got some great insights from Marilyn, understand a little bit more about where the College of Engineering is and why these programs are so important to us. For everybody who said they haven't yet filled out their FAST-App, I know Tyler's going to get there, but we'd love to see those get submitted. The benefit of it being a FAST-App is it's nice and quick. You can do it while we're talking here on the webinar. I'm sure Tyler can share out the link. So thank you all for the time. Thank you, Marilyn, for being a guest. Everyone, take care, and I'll hand it back over to Tyler.
Thank you so much, Marilyn. Thank you, Rob. And that is true. We will drop the FAST-App link in the chat here, just for anybody who hasn't filled it out yet. So you can feel free to fill out that FAST-App. It is not a binding contract. You can fill it out and figure out which pathway is right for you, and then we can follow up and have those conversations. But yeah, again, thank you to Rob. Thank you to Marilyn. Really great info. Lauren and I will continue on with our regularly scheduled webinar here. The agenda, obviously, we heard from our special guests. We'll give you a program overview going through some of the curriculum pieces, some of the benefits to taking the courses online and the programs online. We'll go through some of the degree requirements and support systems that we have for these online programs. We'll also get to admissions, and then we'll answer any questions that we have if we've got time at the end of this call. I'm going to pass it over to Lauren for the next section, and I'll be trying to answer. There's quite a few questions coming in. I'll be trying to answer the questions while Lauren's going through her portion, and then Lauren will answer questions when I'm going through my portion of the webinar. Take it away, Lauren.
All right, sounds great. And DJ, I noticed that you have your hand raised in the chat. If you could, or not in the chat, in the list of people who are here, if you could type your question in the chat or in the QA section, that might be easier for now. At the end, we might be able to unmute folks and let them talk, but for now, it might get a little bit wild. So, all right, Tyler, do you want to share your screen again? Perfect.
I do. I thought I was, but I will now.
No worries at all. Great.
Here we go.
Awesome. All right. So, so as Tyler mentioned, he was passing this over to me, and he also mentioned this earlier. I'm the program manager for our College of Engineering programs. Oh, let me back up to the agenda. So we already did hear from Rob and Marilyn. So now we're going to go into the program overview. We're going to talk a little bit about the degree requirements and support, admissions, and then the questions. And we fully anticipate that you all will have questions along the way. And hopefully we'll have some time at the end as well. So I am the program manager for our College of Engineering programs that we are talking about here today. So I work a lot with our faculty to ensure that the courses are ready to launch and everything's kind of in place for our program to be successful. We also have Katie Friedman here today, who is new to Northeastern, and we're really excited to have her, and she's going to be our success manager. So Katie, I don't know if you want to say hi or unmute. It's up to you.
Yes, hi everyone. So glad that you're here. I look forward to hopefully having you in the program for the spring or after that when you join us. So excited to support you in all the ways that I can.
Thank you, Katie. And I'll talk a little bit more about what Katie's role is later on in the presentation. We also have 2 academic directors, one for each degree. So we have Cal Bugrara, who is the academic director for the MSIS. We also have Sri Radhakrishnan, who is the academic director for the MSDAE. So we can go ahead and keep moving on. Tyler, what do we have next? So we have, as I mentioned, these are 2 degrees in the College of Engineering. So the MS in Information System is really about bringing together business principles and data analytics to make sure that you can be, a digital transformation leader in your organization. So making sure you have both the skills and the business expertise to drive those changes that you want to be made as a leader. In the MSDAE, this is really about using data, learning how to gather data, to tell a story, and to also drive change in your organization. So it's kind of a matter of, do you want to bring in business principles or not? How deep do you want to get in with the data? And Tyler, I will throw this over to you too, if you want to add anything more about kind of those differences.
You got it, Lauren. I think that's great.
Okay. Okay,
I'm also
good.
busy in these questions here, so.
Yes, there's a lot of them, and that's great. So we don't want to discourage anyone from questions, but we can move on to the next slide if you're cool with that. So there's a lot of information on this slide, and I don't expect anyone to necessarily remember this, but I do want to give you a general idea of what the curriculum looks like. So Tyler's going to talk a little bit more about performance-based courses as we talk about admissions, but in each curriculum, there are core courses and concentration courses. And so I have the MSDAE has a heavier load of core courses, and then you will take 3 concentration courses. And then the MSIS is almost a little flipped, and it looks like it might have gotten cut off just a tad on the bottom, which is no big deal. But the MSIS is a little bit flipped, where you have 1 core course and then the rest are concentration requirements. We will be developing more courses as the programs roll along. So if you're sitting here going, why does it say more developed soon for the MSDAE concentration? It's because we'll be rolling those out soon as the semesters flow. No matter what, if you start in this program in the spring, there's going to be plenty of courses for you to select from to graduate in the shortest amount of time as possible. So don't worry about that. Program support. So everything that we do, especially Katie and I and everyone really, is student focused. So we want to make sure that we're putting the student first in every equation that we create. And so we have lots of tools that basically set up our students for success. So Katie, as I mentioned, is our success manager. You can think of her as an academic advisor, but I would say she's more than that. She's really going to make sure that our students are successful at every angle. So did I freeze? No. Okay. Everyone was Katie and Tyler were so still that I thought I froze. I'm sorry. Getting derailed for a second. So she's going to make sure that students are set up for success from the beginning by making sure they're onboarded. She's going to make sure they're signing up for courses, or make sure you're signing up for courses. I'm talking to the audience that hopefully will be starting as students. And then she can help connect you with resources here at Northeastern. So mental health resources, career resources. As an online student, you are still a Northeastern student, and there's a lot of resources that apply to you. And so we want to make sure you know that you are a student at Northeastern, just like any other student is. We also have a robust onboarding course. As I mentioned, Katie will make sure that you're onboarded well. And this includes a robust onboarding course that you will take through Coursera. Coursera is the learning platform that we use for these two programs. We also have a Slack workspace for student networking. This is a chance for you to get to know your fellow classmates, whether you're talking about your classwork or you're just getting to know each other. We want to make sure we're fostering those networking opportunities. And then learner support for your courses. So we have a lot of teaching assistants. We have a learning design team, Coursera technical support. You're going to be able to find help in your courses, whether you've run into a glitch in Coursera or you're unsure about when an assignment is due or any of those things. We have people who will help you. And I emphasize people. We are all real people who are here to help you along that journey. All right, next slide. So program costs. This is always a big question. So currently, students will pay $3,000 per 4-credit hour course. The only exception to that are the MSIS bridge courses or RISE courses that are $2,000 each. So if you are suggested to go into that path, those courses will be $2,000 each. But any course that counts towards the degree that you're completing is $3,000. So since 8 courses are required for each degree, that equals $24,000 for the degree. Obviously, if you're taking those 2 additional RISE or bridge courses, that would be an additional $4,000 total. Okay. All right. Time to degree. So the great thing about our program is there's a lot of flexibility to complete the degree in a short amount of time or a long amount of time. I would not suggest you take a long amount of time, because the longer you take, the more it feels like you've been doing it forever. You want to get a degree and move on with your life. So the shortest amount of time you can complete the degree is 16 months. So that would be 3 semesters. So if you start in a fall semester, you would end at the end of the following fall semester. Okay, so a fall, spring, summer, and another fall. Okay, and that's assuming you're taking 2 courses per term. You can stretch that out a little bit longer if you'd like, by taking 1 course per term. And that's something that you would want to talk to Katie about in terms of planning your academic journey, if you will, to see what makes sense for you. But I would say plan on 16 months, maybe a little bit longer. I don't think anyone wants to be here 32 or 40 months. So, but if you enjoy us and working with us, I guess you might want to. All right, Tyler, I'll pass this over to you.
Sounds good. Thanks, Lauren. We do have one question here about the curriculum that I thought maybe you could take a minute on. The question is there a schedule for the curriculum? Will we need to enroll in both foundational classes at first, or will things be self-paced?
Yeah, so we do have an academic calendar of the courses. So they're offered once per year. And so if you do want to take that shortest amount of time to graduate, it would be pretty prescribed. We would say you need to take, kind of the 2 foundational courses first, then you would move on to the 2 courses that are offered the next term that you need, and then so forth. If you wanted to stretch it out a longer amount of time, it could be more flexible, but there would still be a schedule you should follow. When the courses are only offered once per year, you want to make sure that you're kind of planning that all out. And that's where Katie will be really helpful. So I would say, if you want to take 16 weeks, 16 months, it will be pretty prescribed. Do you think that answers the question? I'm like looking for it in the QA.
Yeah, thanks, Lauren. Yeah, there's quite a few in there. I think there's a few that you can answer privately.
Okay.
And I'll take over while you can get into the Q&A section there. We
Okay.
can also try to answer some of these live at the end of our presentation part of the webinar today. One part of the question that I didn't ask you, Lauren, was can you enroll after November 1st or get started after the January 8th start day? I can answer that first part. Enrollment opens November 1st and is open between November 1st and December 15th. So you can enroll anytime during that time frame. And to be honest, enrollment is open 24/7, 365. It just depends which start term you want to start on. We will assume when you fill out the FAST app that you want to start the immediate next term. And so that's why we have some deadlines in place there, just to make sure that you can get set for the next term. But you can fill out the FAST app and enroll at any time that makes sense for you. And then, Lauren, on getting started after January 8th or after the first day of courses, I'll let you just take that one quick.
Yeah, I would say, you know, that December 15th date that Tyler references is really important because that gives you time to onboard into the program. So that gives you time to claim your Northeastern email address, to get into the onboarding course, and to get placed into courses. So if you were to fill out that FastStep app anytime after that, we would likely assume that you're going to enroll for the summer 2024 term. I mean, obviously, if you filled it out December 16th and we felt like, okay, we can move this along, that might be an option. But anytime after that, our offices do close. And I don't mean us, but the entire university does close for a winter break. So that gives us a little bit of, you know, limited timeline on what we can do. So I would say a January 8th definitely would be summer. Anything before that, probably, I would say December 16th would be like the very last. I can't imagine, or even the 15th. The 15th, I think, is a Friday, so I don't think we could even do a 16th anyway.
Yeah, well, as Lauren said, we are humans. We're not robots. We're not ChatGPT yet. And so if there are situations where we have a deadline up and you'd like to talk to us directly about that deadline or something's not working with your personal schedule, obviously reach out to us and we'll try to make it work for as best as we can. But Lauren, like Lauren said, there are some things that need to get done before starting courses, like onboarding and making sure you get all your ID and everything like that. So we just don't want you to enroll too late to be able to be successful in that term. So, but reach out to us with any question that you have regarding deadlines and that sort of thing, and we will definitely work with you. So the admission counselor team. So actually we've got 2 out of the 3 on the call here. So Katie and I are here. You can see us in real time. And Tom is more on the Coursera side. So we have both sides here on this slide. So Coursera is where the programs live. Northeastern is where they are accredited and where we work here for all 3 of us, Katie, me, and Lauren. And so you'll have support on both sides, the Coursera side and the Northeastern side during the admissions process. So admissions pathways, I know we got a lot of questions about this, and I'll try to answer all of them during my slides here, but we have 2 main ways that you can enter these programs. One is the FAST app, which we've been referencing, and I posted the link in the chat and quite a few times in the Q&A. But the FAST app is our performance-based admissions pathway into these programs. We also have the traditional standard graduate application where you submit all your materials. The College of Engineering reviews those materials and you're considered for direct admission to the program. We'll go over both those paths during this call today. So the FAST app, you can see the link is up here again. But basically the FAST app is our performance-based admissions pathway for learners if you have a technical background or if you don't have a technical background. And we're so excited about these programs because these are engineering master's degrees where you're not really required to have a STEM bachelor's degree to start. So you could have a history degree, or you could have a music composition degree, but throughout the course of your career have had an interest in in programming or data or that sort of thing, you can take either of these programs without that traditional experience. And that's what the FAST-AP performance-based pathway is for. How it works is after you submit your FAST-AP, you will have the opportunity come November 1st when enrollment opens, you'll have the opportunity to enroll in 2 courses. During those 2 courses, if you get a B or better, and then send us your official undergraduate transcript showing that you do have an undergraduate degree, then you will go into the full degree program with no other admissions, no other application requirement. It's just your performance in those courses, as well as just showing us that you do have an undergraduate degree. So it's really your way to skip a long form application. And anybody who fills out the FAST-AP does get a pathway into the program. So we don't say you don't have the experience, you don't have the qualifications. Basically, we've provided opportunities, no matter what your previous background is, to join us in these programs. I'll take a breath here, Lauren, if you see any questions here that I can talk just generally about the FAST-AP.
Yeah, well, it's I don't know about the FAST-AP. Let me ask this and maybe we can talk about it later. So I know one of the questions that students have a lot is, they're worried that they might not have the background that they need. And so this person is wondering, like, what happens if they don't pass the course? And that's a conversation I can have with them. But I'm wondering if you can talk a little bit about the Coursera learning options that we do provide. I know it's not for every pathway, but if we see something that's alarming to us, you can go ahead, Tyler.
Yeah, absolutely. So specifically for the data analytics engineering degree, the faculty from that program have identified 4 courses or certificates on Coursera. If you have 0 technical experience but still want to be a part of that degree program and get that degree, you can go to those 4 courses or certificate programs on Coursera, take those, gain the skills from those courses, and the faculty have determined if you have those skills, you'll be successful in the master's degree for data analytics engineering, which is a pretty groundbreaking thing to be able to take courses on Coursera to get the necessary requirements to then be a part of an MS, a master's degree in data analytics engineering. Now, on the other program, our MSIS program, the information systems program, we actually have the RISE program built in. So if you don't have the necessary technical experience, you will be placed into our RISE degree path, or our RISE path, which is the preparatory courses that you can take. And if you get a B or better in those courses, then you'll go directly into the full degree program after completing those RISE courses. And so for MSIS, we already have the RISE program built into our performance-based pathway courses. For DAE, we require and we ask that you take a look at the Coursera content that we provide, that our faculty have determined have the skills necessary for the program. And a few questions that we typically get on those, the data analytics engineering recommendation, the preparatory courses, is do I have to take all of them, or how does that work? Is there a requirement? I'll tell you that we are not checking if you are completing all 4 of those courses. You take a look at what the courses are and see if you already have some of those skills. If you do, maybe that course isn't for you. Maybe you take the other 3. It's really just made for preparatory work in prep for these DAE pathway courses for you to be successful. We want to provide all of the information possible for you to be successful in those courses, so you don't have to retake those courses to get into the degree program. So I'll move on here. So the MSIS performance-based pathway. So we've pretty much covered most of this already, but this is a nice slide to go through it all one more time. The first step is filling out the FAST-AP. And so it's in the chat here, it's in the Q&A, you've got it on the screen as well. The second step is come November 1st, when enrollment opens, you'll have the opportunity to enroll in 2 courses. Either if you have no technical background, you'll join the RISE pathway, which is that preparatory pathway for the MSIS program. So the second step for you would be taking the RISE courses. The second step, if you have the tech background, you'll take one core course and you'll take one elective. And you can see the cost here associated with whichever pathway you are on there. Lauren already covered that as well. Step 3 is get a B or better in both of those courses, whether you're in the RISE courses or you're in the degree courses, and then show us your official transcripts showing that you have an undergraduate bachelor's degree. You can take 1 or 2 courses. So if you feel like you're a little nervous about taking both courses at the same time because of the time constraints, or you just want to focus to make sure you get that B or better, you can take 1 course at a time, or you can take both courses. So you can have it done in 15 weeks, or you can take 30 weeks to complete both. And then step 4 is you'll start the degree program. Get a B or better, show us your undergraduate transcript, and then you'll go right into that degree program. For those of you that are in the RISE program, this is really important. The RISE courses, they are worth credit, but the credits don't apply to the full degree program. So that program is supplementary to the MSIS degree program. And that's why the course, the cost of the course is reflected. It's a little lower than the main degree courses. If you are in the main degree pathway, so if you do have that tech background and you're taking a core course and an elective, then those credits in your pathway will be applied directly to the degree program. So for those of you that have the tech background for MSIS, you will already have completed 25% of the credits and paid for 25% of the full degree program by the time you're done with the pathway and enter the full degree program. Lauren, any MSIS specific questions coming through that I could answer quick before I move on to
I do have something that came up. It's a little bit specific, I guess. But we did have a student who finished the Google IT support program through Merit America and was wondering if that'd be considered as a tech background. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah,
I said, yeah, specific, but
so yeah, Lauren, it's hard for us to answer that because it really is a personal question of what skills you have from that certification program, but also on top of that, what you've learned throughout your career or what you've done for a hobby. So I would take a look at the skills that you learned from that specific course and certification program, and then compare it to the 4 courses that our faculty have provided as the preparatory courses for the DAE program. And I see someone has asked for what 4 courses on Coursera. We can post that when we get a second here. Maybe Lauren, if you have an opportunity to hop on the Coursera website to drop that in the chat. Yeah, those aren't a secret. We can provide those out so you can see exactly what the skills are that we're looking for. For the DAE performance-based pathway, step 1 is the same, fill out the FAST app. Step 2, this is sort of what we've been talking about. If you don't have the tech experience, then we will recommend that you take those 4 courses or take a look at what the skills are in those 4 courses from Coursera, and then fill in your knowledge gaps, your skills gaps, and then come back to the FAST app and let us know that you've completed that, and then you'll be able to get access to the degree pathway with the FAST app. So if you don't have the tech experience, you'll get the Coursera recommendation courses. If you do have the tech experience, you'll be able to enroll in 2 DAE core courses. And you can see the costs there, $3,000 per course for the DAE courses. If you're not a member at Coursera, the Coursera content may be additional costs that you'll have to factor in. Step 3 is the same as it was for MSIS, but you'll be able to take either 1 or both courses in the same term. You can knock out that pathway in 15 weeks or in 30 weeks. And then if you get a B or better and show us your undergraduate bachelor's degree by the time you complete those 2 courses, you'll move into the full degree program the next term. The tech pathway here, if you're taking the 2 DAE core courses, just like MSIS, those credits will transfer and apply directly into the degree program. So again, once you finish that pathway, you will have completed 25% of the credit requirement, and then you've also paid for 25% of the full degree program by the time you move into the degree program. We just wanted to put together and be completely transparent about what the pathway courses are. So you'll be able to find this on the Coursera website. For more information on course descriptions, you can take a look at the Coursera website as well. But if you're thinking like, oh, I need to make sure that I'm prepared and ready for these courses, these are the ones that we're offering for spring 2024. We will update the website when it's time for summer. And so if you're more interested in summer or fall, you'll have to check back in to see which courses are going to be the pathway courses for the upcoming term. And then, so we've been talking all about the FAST app, which is a really exciting way to enter these programs. But if you do want to take the more traditional approach, if you'd like to submit your materials, we do offer that as an option as well. So the traditional graduate application is your way to submit materials for direct admission consideration. The main thing here is that you do, for the College of Engineering, you do have to hold or be pursuing an undergraduate engineering or technology degree. And so if you don't have that, then the FAST app is really the only option into these programs. If you do have that STEM degree, you can use the traditional application. It does come with an application fee. You'll have to do 2 letters of recommendation, submit your resume, you'll have to write an essay, and submit your transcripts in advance of joining the program. Whereas in the FAST app pathway, you can submit your transcripts while you're already taking the courses. And so it gives you a little more time to be able to get those transcripts. But if you do want to apply the traditional route, it's on our Northeastern's general application portal, which the link is here, enroll.northeastern.edu/apply. That's it for the admissions portion here. I know there's probably a lot of individual questions that I'm happy to answer. David, thank you. That's great. FAST app is great. I see the benefit now. Thank you. That's fantastic. Lauren, did you see, or Katie, did you see any admissions or FAST app specific questions that I could answer to the whole group? Otherwise, we could just kind of open up the rest of the time here to work through some of these questions.
There is a question about TOEFL scores. Do they need to submit TOEFL scores?
For the FAST app, no.
Oh,
for the traditional app, you would have to follow the College of Engineering general application guidelines, which I believe would be a requirement. I see a question about financial aid, and I think that's a really good question. So initially, when we launched these degrees, you may have received some communication around payment being required upfront to enroll in courses, and that has actually changed. We have made the decision to, instead of requiring upfront payment, we want to make it a little easier for learners to be able to get into these courses and have access to financial aid. And so instead of requiring upfront payment, now you will be billed to your student account just like any other traditional student billing process. And so when you enroll, you will get billed to your student account, and that gives you the opportunity to use financial aid to pay for not only the pathway courses, but also the rest of the degree program.
And I'll drop a more specific link about financial aid in the chat. I was actually looking that up, so that's why I left that question alone for a little bit.
It is a recent change, and for those of you who've already filled out a FAST app, to be transparent, there's an email scheduled to go out tomorrow to let you know the update on the difference in payment. So if you've already filled out the FAST app, you'll get that email tomorrow. For those of you who are in here today, that is the announcement. No more upfront payment required. You'll be billed to your student account after you enroll. All right, let's see. I guess next steps, so we can just really move on from the presentation part. If you haven't yet, submit your FAST-App. Like I mentioned, the FAST-App isn't binding. You're really providing us just your general contact information, so we know how to get in contact with you, and then a little bit about your background. We ask your undergraduate degree, because that helps us determine if you have the tech requirements necessary for the programs. And then we ask you some of the skills that you've learned throughout your career or just throughout your hobbies. And if you have those skills, then that can help us also determine which pathway to put you in. And that's it. You submit the form, and then or you submit your FAST-App, and we will review it and let you know which pathway you're in. And then just a reminder, we've mentioned it multiple times here, but course enrollment opens November 1st. And then after November 1st, if you submit your FAST-App after November 1st, you'll be able to enroll at any time after that. There will be deadlines, like we mentioned, to make sure that you get the necessary onboarding for the next term. So the deadlines are just for the next term, but the app and the enrollment is open 24/7, 365. And then feel free to reach out to us if you have any more questions. I know a few of you have mentioned that you've been reaching out to us through email, and thank you for that. We do have a team replying to emails, so it's not necessarily just us three on this call. So if we didn't know your exact question, that might be why. But yeah, feel free to reach out to us at either of those email addresses: online MSIS@northeastern.edu and online DAE@northeastern.edu. I believe that does it for the presentation part. So we can take the rest of the 10 minutes here to try to answer some questions, either privately here or publicly. But again, thanks to everybody who's attended here and asked some great questions. We're really excited about these programs, not only for the degrees in two of the hottest fields right now, but also to be able to provide these pathways into these degree programs for people that may not have had an opportunity in the past. And so we're just really excited to be a part of these programs, and excited that you're here.
Yeah. Tyler, one question that someone asked, which I feel like is always a great question, is does your diploma look any different because the program was completed online? The answer is no. It looks the exact same as if you completed it residentially. So your degree will be listed. It doesn't say that it was online or in person. It just looks like a degree from Northeastern University.
Yeah, there's nothing on the degree that says you took this degree on Coursera. So there's nothing about Coursera. There's nothing about online. It looks the exact same as the on-ground, as a graduate of the on-ground MSIS or DAE program. And that's because the curriculum is generally the same. And it's just a different way to get the content. So online versus on-ground. So it's the same degree.
Let me see.
I see a question about, do we need to mail
I just saw that
transcripts?
too.
So once you enroll in the courses, we will send you more information on exactly what that looks like to send us your transcripts. Like we mentioned before, the great thing about the FAST-App and the performance-based pathway is that it gives you more time to be able to figure out the transcript piece. We know that a lot of you are probably already in the workforce, and it maybe has been a few years since you have actually contacted your university, and maybe the process has changed. And so doing it this way gives you at least 15 weeks to figure that out, and we'll be able to provide instructions once you enroll, and then get you what you need to submit us the transcripts. For the DAE pathway course, does one course need to be taken before the other? It's a great question. For DAE, no. You can take both at the same time or take one or the other. For MSIS, there is a requirement to take the core course before you take any electives. So if you're interested in the MSIS program and you only want to take one course at a time, you would need to start with the core course, and then you can open it up to the elective options. You can also take them both at the same time, the core course and the elective. You just can't start with an elective and then take the core course a few semesters later. After the 2 pathway courses are completed, are students eligible for federal financial aid? So I think we already answered this, but just to be clear, so both pathway courses and degree courses are all eligible now for financial aid. And so you'll get billed to your student account, and you can work with Northeastern's student financial aid office to figure out what works best for you and your financial situation. I think there was a question that came through about live sessions, and Lauren, you may have covered this while I was deep in answering Q&A, but in general, the courses are asynchronous with homework and with deadlines within the courses. And then there are office hours to be able to interact with the faculty, but for these programs, there are no live sessions. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, that's correct. That's correct. And there was another question, and I think there might be a few still in the Q&A about like exams, whether it's project-based learning, exams. There's really no one size fits all, because instructors are allowed to design the course within reason. But I would say most instructors with our learning design team tend to focus more on practical learning assignments, not necessarily on traditional, like, sit down, take an exam in 60 minutes. So I can't make a blanket statement that a course would not have an exam, but our learning design team really works closely with the instructors to make sure they're providing the best experience for an online audience.
Thanks, Lauren.
There's a question in the chat, how long does this program run on Coursera? I think what you might be asking is like, how long is each course, maybe? And so each course is 14 weeks long. So they are full semester courses, and there's like weekly modules within each course, and they're usually 14 weeks in length. And all the courses are on Coursera, so the entire degree will be on Coursera, including your onboarding course. So we get you started right away so that you can feel comfortable with Coursera before you like jump into actual courses.
Oh, there is a question about, I didn't graduate with a good GPA. Is that going to affect the admissions process? And fantastic question. And the answer is, if you do the FAST-AP, your GPA from your undergraduate degree does not hold any weight in the process at all. All that we care about at that point is that you do well in the performance-based courses, so your pathway courses, like you're showing us right now that you are interested and invested in this degree. If you get a B or better, and then just show us that you have an undergraduate bachelor's degree. We're not going to look at the grades. We're not going to look at anything like that. And so the great thing about these programs is really we understand that you may have had a different experience in undergraduate, and you may now have this newfound interest in tech, in coding, which is completely different from an undergraduate experience. And so the GPA really does not apply if you're using the FAST-AP. I will say, if you do the traditional application, the GPA does come into play there, and it does hold weight in the traditional graduate application.
I'm going to go back and re-answer Ying's question about how long does this program run on Coursera. And Katie helped me out on this as well. And she specified, so she was wondering how, or he or she were wondering how long this program has been on Coursera. So this is a brand new program that launches this upcoming spring term. So technically these programs have not been on Coursera. However, we do have a different online degree that I manage that's on Coursera. And Coursera does offer several other degrees through other institutions as well.
Yeah, good. Good follow-up there, Lauren. It's not Coursera's first time doing a degree like this, nor is it our first time doing an online degree on Coursera. But this program is brand new, which is why we're excited to launch this. So, and that's why enrollment doesn't open until November 1st. We're making sure everything is ready and set up for you all, so it's a seamless experience for you. I think we're coming up to time here. I don't know if there are any other additional questions that can be answered publicly during this call. I will say, if you have a very specific question, please use the email addresses that we provided: online MSIS at northeastern.edu or online DAE at northeastern.edu, and we will be able to help you out more individually. There are some questions in here that, to be honest, I don't know the answer to right now, and so I'll just take a minute to do some research on our end to make sure we're getting you the right information. Lauren, Katie, anything else for before we end this call?
No, just thank you everyone who came. It was amazing.
Yeah, I second that. Thanks to everybody who has attended here, and please keep engaging with us through email and through Coursera. We will gladly answer any questions we can to get you into these programs. And if you haven't yet, fill out the FAST app.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.